Hi there. In this video, we're going to talk about expressions with and without parentheses. So let's talk about what parentheses are. Parentheses are simply grouping symbols. And what this means is that I just want to put parentheses around a number and then I create a group. All right. And another thing that I can say is that it creates a quantity. So it creates a quantity. And sometimes we use that word quantity to show parentheses. All right, so let's look at a quick example. And so on this, if I'm trying to write the following expression using words, I have 3 times the quantity of the sum of x and 4. Okay, and let's write that out in words. Okay, and so if I write 3 times the quantity of the sum of a number and 4, now we could also write this and write it out as 3 times the sum of a number and 4, okay? And because it says 3 times the sum means that we would have to add the number and 4 first before we multiply by 3, okay? So there's a little bit of nuance with these phrases and how I write them and what that means when we write it out mathematically. So on this, it would say, write an expression for 3 times the difference of a number and 5. So what I want to make sure I do first is that I take the difference of a number and 5 and then multiply it by 3. So I would write that as 3 parentheses, and we'll use m minus 5. Okay, so that's how I would write this phrase using this information. Okay, in my next example, what I want to do is I want to evaluate the following expressions for when t is equal to 4. And I've got 3 different expressions here. And again, I'm going to substitute my value of t equals 4 into all of the different t's that I see in each of these expressions. All right, so let's start off with the first one. All right, so 2 times t plus 3. What I want to do is I'm going to write out 2 parentheses, plug in 4 in for t, and let's do the math. Now, the first thing that I want to do is do whatever's inside the parentheses first. So I want to do the 4 plus 3 first because it's inside the parentheses. So here I've got 2 times 4 plus 3 is 7, and then I'm simply just multiplying 2 times 7 to get 14, and that's my answer. Okay, in my next example, I'm going to do 2t times t squared plus 5t. So the first thing I'm going to do is write out my 2. I'm then going to write out, plug in 4 for t. So I'm going to do parentheses 4 and then squared plus 5 times t, and then I'm going to plug in 4 for t here. Okay. From there, I want to do I have any parentheses? No. And even though 4 is in parentheses, I don't have any operations within that. So then what I want to do is now do my exponent. So I've got 4 squared, so 4 times 4 is 16. So I'm going to do 2 times 16, then plus 5 times 4, okay? So from here, I'm going to do 2 times 16, which is 32, plus 5 times 4. And I'm doing this step because I'm multiplying all these first before I add. 5 times 4 is 20. All right, so I've got 32 plus 20, which is going to end up giving me a whole value of 52. Now, on the last one, we got a bunch of different steps here. All right, again, I'm going to plug in 4 for t, and that's going to be my first step. So 2, and then parentheses, just to show that I'm doing 4 squared first. All right, and then plus 3 parentheses, plug in 4 for t, and then plus 2. Now, the first thing I want to do is anything in parentheses. So I'm going to do this part first. So I'm going to do 2, and then parentheses 4, that quantity squared, plus 3 times 4 plus 2, which is 6, okay? So now the next thing I want to do, 4 squared is 4 times 4, that's 16. So I'm going to do 2 times 16 plus 3 times 6. All right, now 2 times 16, that's going to give me 32. all right, plus 3 times 6, which is 18. So what I'm doing, remember, is I'm doing the multiplication first, and then I want to add second, okay? So now 32 plus 18, oh gosh, what is that going to give me? 32 plus 10 is 42 plus 8, which is 50. All right, so we get a total value of 50 here. Now, what I want you to realize is that when I do these problems, when I'm evaluating these expressions, then I'm going from one step down to the next, until I get to my final answer. Same thing here. I start with my first step, plug my number in, substitute 4 in for t, and then start doing the math. All right, and I use my order of operations to finally arrive at a number. Same thing here. And the one thing I want you to realize is that there is no equal sign when I'm evaluating these expressions. All right, they simply just go from one step to the next and evaluate down until you get to a number, okay? So that's all I got for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.